Well, I guess there was a Nightline special about you guys where it said that you guys make $10 million a year off your own label.
Yeah, that's probably not true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I definitely don't put $10 million in my pocket every year. There's no
we
question
might
about that.
maybe it's just they'll
But
say
you guys are
anything
doing
to
well
them.
independently.
Huh?
You guys are doing great
Oh
independently.
yeah.
We make a living, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I mean, we do. Compared to how we grew up, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Super,
We're
man.
murdering it.
I live in a nice house on a fucking lake out in Clarkston,
My
Michigan.
kids' college. I always say this.
You know
I'm
what
so
I'm
proud
saying?
of it. My kids' college is paid for, man.
Right, and I guess you own 4 homes.
Well, I sold 2 of them. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I didn't like. I got too much for me to handle.
Okay. The whole thing, the whole thing with
That's a
Eminem.
motherfucker, huh?
Hey, man, that's what I do. The whole thing with Eminem, I guess, started over a flyer.
Huh?
Yeah,
So,
it
yeah,
did,
with
for
Eminem.
sure.
Yeah.
Over a flyer. Can you describe that whole flyer incident?
What happened was we went into St. Andrews and they had hip hop night. You know what I mean? And Eminem walked up and gave us a flyer.
We didn't
that
know it was
said,
that. We didn't know what the fuck it was.
It said record release party for, I guess it was for his
Slim
album
Shady EP,
way
wasn't
before Dre and all that. You know
Slim
what I mean?
Shady
Slim Shady EP, I think.
Yeah.
It was like before, yeah. And it said special invited guests, and it had Esham, Kid Rock, ICP, and some others, and we were
They
like
had question marks.
we
I
were
think.
like, why is our name on this flyer? You know what I mean? Because
we never heard of nothing.
we don't even know what this is, and our name's on the flyer, And he was like, I'm not saying you guys are gonna be there. It says invited. And we're like, and he's like, and I'm inviting you now. You guys want to come? And we were like, I understand how that works now, but we didn't understand then. That was the first time we'd ever saw that.
But that was
invited guests, and we were like, you can invite Ice Cube. That don't mean he's gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Like, special invited guest, Prince. You know what I mean? Like
that was the initial. You know, what
we
I'm
just
saying?
didn't understand. We never saw that before.
Right.
Okay.
Plus,
That's when we first heard of him and first seeing some shit like that. And you gotta understand at the time, we was like
the other thing
up
was.
here and he was down there. You know what I'm saying?
The other thing
Who would've
was,
known, but-
his brother was a DJ, and
This was strike 2,
we had heard
Little League style.
we had heard his album that he was recording,
My brother got a copy of his out, like the pre-mix record, all that with Dre and all that.
and he said one of the lyrics he said on there was "fuck ICP, buy my CD," and we were like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna diss us like that, and so we
There
had
was
a
like 80
radio show.
tracks on the shits.
We had a radio show at the time, and we took his song, Slim Shady, and we did a remix of it and turned it into Slim Anus. And we just played it as a joke on our radio show, you know what I mean?
We had one of our boys that could rap just like Eminem. We took pieces out the song and made him sound like gay and shit. You know what I'm saying? Him and Dre.
And
It was funny as
so
shit, though.
yeah, and we played that, and what happened was he happened to go into an interview for that station like the next day, and they were like, it was pretty stale. We heard a tape of it, but they were like, hey, you know who ICP is? And he's like, yeah, Violent J and Shaggy. I know who that is, And then they were like, well, they have a
Such a
radio
good
show
impression.
here, and this is what they played last night, And they played it for him right on the air, which
Slim,
is really
they
foul.
played Slim Anus for
Yeah,
Eminem
right.
just live on the
Like,
air.
he was there, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That
In
was
his
like,
face.
if I were him, I'd have been heated, at the station.
If I was him, I'd have beat up the DJ.
Yeah, I
You know
thought
what
it was
I'm
foul
saying?
that
Straight
they
up.
actually sprung that
Oh,
on
that
him
DJ
on
would've
the
made
air,
out
you
the
know what I'm
fucking
saying?
studio if I'd have
That's
been
some
there.
hater shit though, like they do that, but that made him really mad. And then he started rap. He's like, man, and he started busting the actual rap we had heard already, where he says, "Fuck ICP, buy my CD," and he was like, "We're gonna handle it on the streets," and then everything just went bad from there. You know what I mean?
Okay, when you say went bad, did anything actually happen?
All kinds of shit happened between our camps.
Like what?
Like people getting into fights out on the streets.
Didn't nothing happen between me and him and actual fucking Eminem.
But your
Never.
people and his people.
Yeah, he pulled a fucking empty pistol on one of our boys. You
Wait,
know what I'm saying?
Eminem pulled an empty pistol.
On one of our boys.
Really?
Yeah, and then he pistol whipped some fucking bouncer for making out for his wife or some shit. I don't know.
Okay, but
Anyway, besides the
Well, no,
fucking
but that
shit.
didn't have anything
Who
to do
cares?
with you guys.
You know what?
though.
That's an old high school shit. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Don't nobody care about
No,
that
I mean
shit no more.
Eminem was crazy back then.
Yeah, he
I
was.
remember.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
seeing a show where someone.
so were we.
He
You know
jumped to
what
the
I'm saying?
crowd to fight somebody, like in San Francisco.
Yeah,
I've seen it firsthand.
No, our boy was at a fucking place where they do the fucking sounds at, you know what I'm saying, a car place where they put the sounds in the car. He pulled up, he had a psychopathic jacket on, And Eminem, like, I don't know what the fuck happened. I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? I just know that fucking 4 o'clock in the afternoon, my boys come. He's like, yo, hurry up and get here. I'm like, yo, I live fucking like a million miles away. What the fuck I'm gonna do when I get there? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna be gone. But like, I guess he pulled a pistol on him. You know,
I don't know exactly what happened there.
light gun.
You know, but like, you know, yeah, man, he was just becoming mad famous. You know, he's probably
He didn't know how to
stressed out
handle
like
it
a
at the
motherfucker.
time.
You
Yeah,
know?
he didn't know how to handle that
and
shit. At the
and
time,
you know,
it all hit him like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like you know,
Poor guy. You know?
it was mostly our camps, man. Like,
Yeah.
when I say mostly, I mean all. It was like, you know, we
I
heard
mean, we
hear
had
about
choice
this fight
words.
happen and that, you know, bumped into such and such. You know, it was never us though. Like, we never had.
We
any
had choice words.
confrontation
He
with
had
him, you
choice
know?
words, but we never
Right.
fucking head on hit it. You know what I'm saying? It was always like he said, like our camps. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess Proof at one point came in to
Yes, sir.
kind of squash it all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was
God
some
bless
shit,
him.
man.
RIP,
Yeah, like
God bless Proof.
what happened was Proof was on like a it seemed like sort of like a peace mission with all these Eminem rivalries that Eminem and Proof probably had made over the years.
But you
know?
want to know what? Both of our camps were sick of not being able to go out and like getting the scraps and shit because we had to look over our shoulders because of D12 and Eminem and like fucking our whole psychopathic camp and shit. Everybody just getting kind of played on it.
You know,
what I'm saying?
Proof had actually called psychopathic, you know, and was like, we need to squash this. And I'll tell you why that meant a lot to us. Because you know, up until that point in our career, you know, nobody really wanted to claim us. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop didn't want to claim ICP. You know what I mean? They didn't understand what we were doing.
That's why we're so grateful today.
You know, and they just was sort of like, they don't count. You know, if you were mentioning all the great rappers from Detroit, ICP be the last name to be on that list. You know what I mean?
Even on the list.
And alternative rock didn't want to claim us either. You know, they don't even have a band. You know, they ain't, you know, that ain't rock. You know, we really were kind of always in our own world. So when Proof reached out to us to squash that beef, that meant an epic amount to us because like we counted. You get what I'm saying? Like we were included in that mission. And man, we were touched by that. You know, we were like, damn, you know, he came to our office. We had a group on a label at the time. He did a song with them. You know what I'm saying? Gave ICP a shout out in the verse. And man, it was like, I can't even tell you like what that meant to us. And we didn't need to know if Eminem himself knew about it. None of that mattered to us because Proof, that meant enough to us.
Yeah, it was his best friend.
What do you mean that?
Wanting to no affiliation with Eminem. Proof wanting to squash the beef meant a lot to us.
Now we could all move around the streets, you know what I'm saying,
you know,
without
like
beef going on.
Proof acknowledging our beef as something that needs to be squashed. That meant a lot to us. You know, even though it did, absolutely. I mean, it don't matter where a slug's coming from. It's a slug. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have spun off into some dumb shit. You see what I'm saying? But him publicly saying we need to squash that beef, that meant a lot to us. You know what I'm saying? And that night we went bowling. We had a bowling match. It was like D12 versus Psychopathic. It was fresh, man. We're talking kung fu shit to each other.
Dope.
And drinking and like we had a lot of fun, man. You know. And then that night, our after the big bowling match, our crews kind of dwindled down, and it was just us and Proof. We went to St. Andrews, and we were just bullshitting at St. Andrews. You know, it was really, really dope, man.
It was real shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I interviewed Obi Trice about Proof's death and, you know, Eminem's reaction to it and just kind of the loss to the city.
I remember when that situation happened and, you know, we had to go to the hospital and shit and, you know, it was me, D, and the whole D12 went in the room and just saw him laying there like that. You know, it was just everybody was just fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It was just a fucked up time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure he took it as hard as all of us, you know, or even harder being how close he was, but you know, that didn't matter. Everybody took it hard. You know what I'm saying? It was just a rough period.
Yeah, man.
When he ended up getting killed.
Man, you know, in Detroit, Proof wasn't just Eminem's right hand man. You know,
Proof has been around
was a
forever.
legend. You know what I'm saying?
Somehow Proof, like our fucking what was it? Was it Riddle Box? he opened up our fucking he like performed at our fucking record release party for our third record we ever put out. You know what I'm saying? So that our second record, our third record, yeah, that we ever put out. You know what I'm saying? Proof was more than just Eminem. Proof was a staple in Detroit. Big time. You know what I'm saying?
And
he wasn't a hype man. He was a full show himself. You know what I'm saying?
We're from different sides of the track. You know, like he was
came
part
from
of
the hip-hop
the
shop.
freestyling, the hip hop shop, and all that. You know, and we just came from the Esham Kid Rock route. You know what I mean? Of doing things, pressing your records up to get a name that way. You know, as opposed to getting a name through your skill. You know, and man, like, you know, it just was like, it really touched us that he
shocked everybody.
Yeah, you know, and when he got killed, you know, it was like we wanted to go to the funeral, but at the same time we didn't understand whether or not Eminem.
We didn't know if we were invited or not. You know what I'm saying?
We didn't know if Eminem knew entirely about that. You know, Eminem might have been like, "Fuck them guys." And Proof took it upon himself to squash the beef with us. You know, his beef. You see what I'm saying? We don't know.
Right.
We didn't ask. But we wanted to pay our respects at the funeral, but we didn't go because
we didn't want like no beef popping off.
Eminem to be like, you know, in his moment of grief and all that, to be like, what the fuck are they doing here? You know what I mean?
We didn't want no
they didn't know him in
shit,
case he didn't know that we had squashed that, so we had to lay low, and that felt like we were disrespecting him because even though we weren't like much in his life, it meant so much to us what he did. You see what I'm saying? That we wanted to pay our respect. But we chose not to, you know what I mean? Because out of respect for Eminem, you know.
No, I feel you, man.